Hi everyone, it's Robin from Senior Safety Advice. Today I want to talk about something that most people never say out loud, the unpleasant things that can happen as we age. I watched a video on the subject from a YouTube channel called Senior Book. I'm going to link to their video below. But the gist of the video was that there are things that we do as seniors that people don't really mention or tell you about because they can be embarrassing or confusing to others. Like, why is Aunt Sally suddenly not bathing? Or why does Uncle Joe always complain about everything? Interestingly, there are often scientific reasons behind these unpleasant actions and issues. The video does a good job of citing research to back up their explanation of why we do these things, and they list several studies and papers to also back up what they're saying. So, as you can see, this list is not going to be about judgment or shame. It's about awareness, compassion, and hope. Because when we understand these changes, we can handle them in ourselves and we can recognize them in others, which helps to keep older adults' dignity and relationships intact. So let's go through the list that they presented and we'll talk about the unpleasant things that seniors sometimes do as they age, and we'll find out how to face them with grace. So the first one is becoming overly negative or critical. As we age, our world gets smaller. We have health issues, loss, fewer social connections. It's easier to focus on what is wrong. You might know someone like this, or maybe you've caught yourself doing it. Over time, some older adults start to focus on what's wrong instead of what's right. They complain about aches and the news and how things used to be. It's understandable because, again, aging brings losses and frustrations, but constant negativity can push people away. The science behind it says that chronic stress and isolation lower serotonin and dopamine levels. These are the chemicals that affect optimism and motivation. The aging brain's amygdala also becomes more sensitive to threats, which means negative events feel stronger than positive ones. Try this to overcome. Start conversations with one positive observation every day, or ask questions instead of offering criticism. The small shift like this will retrain your brain to notice the good. It also helps change the energy and helps you to reconnect with others. The next item on their list was neglecting personal hygiene and appearance. So, this is one that can sneak up on you. When motivation drops or energy fades, showering and dressing up can start to feel like a chore. You might think, why am I bothering to get dressed up? I'm not going anywhere. But staying clean, dressed, and groomed isn't about vanity, it's more about self respect. It reminds you that you matter. The science behind this phenomenon has to do with executive function decline in the frontal lobe that can make planning daily tasks harder. In addition, depression, which can affect up to 15% of older adults, often shows up first as a loss in interest or in grooming and self-care. But even simple things like putting on a fresh shirt and brushing your hair or using your favorite lotion can actually lift your mood and tell your brain, hey, I'm still me. So try this. Keep routines simple, have clean clothes within reach, use easy grip grooming tools if something like painful arthritis keeps you from doing what you used to do, and use soft lighting that makes getting ready feel more calming instead of exhausting. Number 3 on the list is resisting change and being stubborn. Sometimes older adults cling to routines and say things like, I don't need that, when younger relatives or younger people try to include them in new and unfamiliar things like tech, for example, group chats and apps. But over time, these people miss out on ways to stay connected because aging can make you feel a little threatened. The science behind it says the brain's neuroplasticity, which is its ability to adapt, naturally slows over time, making new habits harder to form. Many adults, older adults, also experience decision fatigue, where too many new choices can feel overwhelming. Remember that change isn't just about things like gadgets. It's also about remaining open to new experiences and new ways of doing things, and staying socially connected rather than isolating yourself. Resistance can quietly lead to loneliness. So, to overcome this, try this. Approach change in small steps. Learn one new skill at a time and celebrate your progress, not perfection. Try saying, I'll try it instead of, I don't need it. This allows you to learn and keep your curiosity alive. Number 4 on the list is hoarding and refusing to let go of clutter. Holding on to items just in case or for sentimental reasons is common. I am going to tell you I'm guilty of it myself. But doing this can turn your home into a maze. Past memories in physical form can create excess baggage, make environments harder to navigate around, and limit your freedom. Clutter also can reduce your mobility, diminish your safety due to tripping hazards, and can send a message of being stuck in the past versus embracing the present. The science behind it says that memory decline can make people fear losing their history, so they hang on to physical items because they are emotional anchors for them. In addition, research links hoarding behaviors in older adults to changes in the anterior cingulate cortex, which controls decision making and emotional attachment. So, to get beyond this, try regularly reviewing possessions with a friend or family member, asking yourself, does this item serve me now? If not, donate it or dispose of the items that you no longer use so you can create safe, clear spaces for ease of movement and peace of mind. Also, before you get rid of something, take a photo of it. That way you can keep the memory without keeping the clutter. Number 5 is losing patience with each other. Sorry, with others. As one ages, frustrations build. Our bodies are slower, we have more pain, we have hearing loss, we fear the loss of our independence. Sometimes all of this translates into frustration and impatience with younger people or caregivers. We might say, why don't you just do it? Or have a short fuse when simple tasks take longer. The science behind it says that pain and fatigue activate the brain's limbic system, increasing irritability. And certain medications and sleep disturbances can lower emotional regulation, making patience harder to come by and harder to maintain. The effect is that your relationships might suffer, and caregivers or younger family members may feel like they're walking on eggshells. So try this. Learn to recognize when impatience is really about your internal frustration. When irritation rises, pause and take 3 slow, deep breaths. Doing so helps to reset the nervous system and helps to calm the emotional centers in your brain. Also, communicate your feelings. Say something like, I'm frustrated because my knee hurts and I can't move it like I used to, rather than snapping at somebody. And then practice gratitude to offset your impatience. Number 6 on the list of unpleasant things that seniors do that people won't tell you about is talking too much and not listening. Sometimes conversations can become one sided in older adults. They talk more and they listen less, or old topics dominate the conversation. Well, back in my day, we used to. Seniors might show less interest in what others are doing. Why? Why would this happen? Well, sometimes seniors are not repeating a story to be annoying. They do it to feel connected or because they want to fill silence. Sometimes they do it because they've forgotten that they've already told the same story 20 times. but a shift like that can alienate others because they may feel like they're not being heard. The science behind it says that the hippocampus, which is responsible for short term memory, can weaken with age, making repetition more likely. And loneliness triggers the brain's social reward pathways. So, talking becomes a way to release oxytocin, which is the connection hormone and the feel good hormone. So, if you're doing this, try this. Ask more questions of others. Actively listen to what they're saying. Show curiosity in other people's lives and balance sharing with being open to hearing more. Number 7 on the list is pushing people away instead of asking for help. Despite needing help, often needed because of changes that come with aging, many seniors resist. They dismiss offers of support or they say, no, no, I can handle it. Also, sometimes seniors will say, I don't want to be a burden, but rejecting help can create even more isolation. Without help, problems can grow. Problems with mobility, health, home maintenance, and relational distance widens because loved ones feel shut out. The science behind it says that aging can trigger a deep need for autonomy, a basic human drive. Losing independence can feel like you're losing your identity. Studies show that a fear of dependence activates the same stress response as physical pain does. And remember that accepting help does not mean that you are weak. It really means a connection. So say instead, yes, could you help me with? In other words, invite rather than isolate. Share what you're comfortable with and maintain control of what you can. Practice saying yes to small offers of help, even if you really don't think you need it. Doing this lets the other person feel happy that they assisted you, and it keeps the relationship strong, and your future dignity will be intact. Number 8 on the list of unpleasant things that people won't tell you you do is being too frugal to enjoy life. After all, a lifetime of saving, and when you have to spend, it can be uncomfortable, even if you have enough money that it's safe to do so. According to the video that I watched, some seniors become overly cautious about spending, saying, I've earned every cent, or I'm not going to waste my money now. But this leads to missed opportunities. You don't go out on outings as much or go out to dinner because you're worried about spending the money. You decline social engagements, and then you regret later what you could have enjoyed. The science behind it says that older adults often develop a loss aversion, a bias where losing money feels twice as painful as gaining it feels rewarding. Also, there's anxiety about outliving your savings, and that activates the brain's anterior insula, which is the same region that processes fear. So you can see how it can be a scary proposition for someone. So instead, try this. Create a joy budget, a small monthly amount set aside for experiences that bring you happiness, not guilt. In other words, budget to experience as well as for your basics. Allocate some money for worth it moments like a meal out or a small trip or taking a class, and remind yourself that happiness and connection are important at any age. Number 9 on our list is talking down to the younger generations. Sometimes advice can sound like criticism to people, so it's easy to forget that the world that younger people live in is very different from the world that you lived in as a senior. The video that I watched describes comments like, when I was your age, or dismissive remarks about younger people's choices, and recognizes that over time, those remarks build resentment or distance between generations. As a consequence, younger family members might withdraw, conversations might shrink, and the I can't say it, generational gap widens. Sorry. The science behind it is that the prefrontal cortex processes empathy and perspective taking, but age related decline can make it harder to see things from another's viewpoint. There's also cognitive rigidity, the brain's reduced flexibility, which makes older adults more likely to stick to the way things should be. So instead of lecturing, try asking younger people about their perspectives before giving advice. Ask them what made you decide to do things that way. If this will then turn a lecture into a conversation. And appreciate that each generation faces its own challenges. Mutual respect strengthens relationships. Number 10, if you're still hanging in there with me, good for you. We only have three more to go, I think. Number 10 is holding on to grudges and regrets. When you've lived long enough, you've seen pain and disappointment and loss. Sometimes it sticks really strongly in your mind. Because of this, some seniors will dwell on past mistakes or slights and replay them in their mind over and over again. They let these things define their interactions rather than releasing them and moving forward. The effect is getting emotional weight and bitterness and decreased joy and possibly avoiding interaction with people who are tied to those regrets. The science behind it says that the amygdala and hippocampus process emotional memories. With age, the brain can replay old hurts more vividly. An unresolved regret is linked to higher levels of cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and this can affect your sleep and your heart health. So instead, try this. Acknowledge the regret or the grudge to yourself. Then write a letting go letter, even if you never send it, and you probably shouldn't. But when you do this, your brain releases the tension of those emotions, and afterwards, you can focus on the present and how the relationship can still be built or repaired. Item number 11 on the list of unpleasant things is ignoring health problems and warning signs. Seniors can say all day long, oh, this aches or this pain. Oh, it's just a matter of getting old, even when something is clearly wrong. But making phrases or saying phrases like that really hides a lot of avoidable suffering in many cases. Because of this, just thinking that you're getting old and that's what it is, you might delay seeing a doctor or dismiss important symptoms or avoid acknowledging the need for having something looked at. The consequence is that health issues can escalate. You may end up with a loss of independence because you didn't get on top of something fast enough and now you're in a less mobile or whatever. You might have an increased need for care and you might have had an avoidable decline, something, now you've declined and you could have avoided it. The science behind it is that studies show that pain tolerance can increase with age, leading some people to underestimate symptoms. And cognitive decline and denial can act as protective mechanisms. The brain avoids anxiety by minimizing your problems. So instead, try this. Stay proactive. Schedule regular checkups with your doctor. Think of them as like maintenance for your car, but they're maintenance for you. But they're not emergencies, which is good. Prevention helps you to keep your independence longer. And if something feels off, make an appointment and have a doctor check it. Along with doing this, keep tabs on your mobility, your hearing, your vision, your balance. Treat aging as a phase of managing your wellness rather than waiting to break. And last on our list is number 12 is forgetting to invite joy and fun and laughter into your life. The video I watched underscores that as roles change, like retirement and less mobility, seniors may stop scheduling fun. They might stop trying new things. They might say, what's the point? The loss of joy is the quietest, but one of the most dangerous changes in seniors. The effect is that life becomes passive. less engaged, and loneliness and a lower mood can set in. The science behind it says that dopamine production declines with age, which reduces motivation and spark. Social isolation lowers oxytocin and endorphins, which are natural mood busters. So, the advice is to make time for things that make you happy: a hobby, a new class, a laughter filled phone call with someone you care about. Schedule joy the way you schedule your appointments. Schedule a walk or a hobby, a song, laughing with a friend. Maybe do one thing a week, even one thing a month. Invite fun proactively. Your brain needs those happy chemicals, so you want to keep them flowing. So, I want to remind you that these behaviors that we've discussed in this list of 12 unpleasant things that people will not tell older adults is that they are not signs of failure. They're just signs of being human. They remind us that aging is both biological and emotional. The good news is that being aware of things always brings change. When you understand the why, you can choose better the how. So, if this video helped you see yourself or someone you love with a little more compassion, please like the video and subscribe to our channel and share it with somebody else, because aging well starts with understanding ourselves. So, thanks very much for watching. Until the next video, take care. Bye.